Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the priority scheduling algorithm. In this algorithm called priority scheduling, as it is self-explanatory, here we are going to process each and every job based on the priorities given. Okay. So in this type of priority scheduling, we are going to check the priority based on certain resource requirements. In case if we are having two different jobs of same priority, then we are going to use the concept of first come first serve order, so that we can solve the so that we can break the time. Okay, so let us start with the priority scheduling with the help of example. So here I am taking or considering a set of process, and we are imagining that all the process arrived at time 0, and the order in which these process arrived is P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5. So here, as you can see, I have given the burst time for each and every process along with the priorities. Okay. So as you can see, the priority, the less priority, the less number of priority it is, that means we are going to solve it first. Like we are having priority 1, that means we are going to give preference to that particular process first. Okay, fine. So let us solve this one. Now please do remember this table, as I am not able to refer this one again in the next slide. Please do have you can take down this table. Now, if you want to draw the Gantt chart for the table what we have considered in our previous slide, you can see that the highest priority was given to process P4. So, we will start with the processing of job P4 first. So, it will be starting from time 0, and the burst time for this process P4 was 3. So until 3rd millisecond, the job P4 is getting executed. Afterwards, the next priority was given to job P1. So after execution of P4, job P1 is getting CPU and it has started with the execution. Okay, so till as we know that the burst time for process P1 was 6. So starting from 3 millisecond, P1 is going to execute till 9th millisecond. Okay, then after P2 is getting executed, then the next priority is given to process P5, which is going to execute for 4 milliseconds. That means starting from 9th millisecond, P5 is taking 4 milliseconds. That means it is going to complete its execution till 13th millisecond. Once the job or the process P5 is done with the execution, the next priority is for P2. So P2 is it is requiring the burst time of 12 milliseconds. So starting from 13th millisecond, it is executing till 25th milliseconds. As we know, the burst time is 12. Okay, then the last priority was given to job P3. Okay, so it requires 1 millisecond. So we are going to execute it till 26th millisecond. Okay, so please do remember here, the priority 1 means it is having the highest priority, and priority 5 means it is the lowest priority. If you calculate the average waiting time for each and every one, because P4 did not waited for anything, the waiting time for P4 will be 0. P1 was waiting till 3 milliseconds, so waiting time for P1 will be 3. Then next we have executed process P5. That means the waiting time for P5 will be 9 milliseconds. Okay, because P5 was waiting for the CPU to get allocated till 9th millisecond. Followed by the waiting time for P2 will be 13 and waiting time for P3 will be 25. So if you calculate the average waiting time, here it is. The average waiting time, it will be somewhere around 10 milliseconds. Okay. So this is the thing. Now please don't get confused with these numbers, as I have given here as per the process in order. This is the waiting time for P1, this is P2, this is P3, this is P4, and this is P5. Either you can write it like this, or the way in which you have drawn the Gantt chart, both are one and the same. Okay, now one of the best advantage of this priority scheduling is that we are able to apply it on both preemptive and non-preemptive schemes. Okay. Now, when I am saying the priorities are given, remember the priorities can be either internal or external. When we talk about internal priorities, it is nothing but the time limit of the process, the number of files are open, the memory requirement, the average input output ratio, and the average burst time is considered. When you talk about the external priorities, please do remember it is like the amount of funds which we are paying, the political factors, and so on. Okay, so this is about the different type of priorities, how we are going to decide whether it is internal or external. Okay, so now let us discuss about one more point when we are talking about the priority scheduling, is the problem of starvation. Now this problem of starvation is nothing but there are certain processes which are waiting for longer period of time for getting the CPU so that it can get executed. Okay, and if you are having low priority processes, those processes will keep on waiting for longer period of time, hence resulting in starvation. Okay, now if you want to avoid this starvation is also called as indefinite blocking. That means we are blocking certain process because that process is not having the higher priorities. Fine. So now to solve this kind of starvation problem, we are having the concept of aging. Okay, this aging is basically a solution for the starvation, where we are gradually increasing the priority of those processes which are waiting for longer period of time. Okay, so this is the concept which we will encounter in priority scheduling, that is starvation, and we can solve this starvation by using the concept of aging. Next comes the advantages of the priority scheduling. This priority scheduling is multitasking system. It is supporting both preemptive and non-preemptive scheduling, as I have told you. Its response time is very good, and it is having low interrupt latencies and high input output bandwidth. If you see the disadvantages, as I was talking about the starvation or indefinite blocking. Okay, so this will be the one of the disadvantage of priority scheduling, and it is making, due to the starvation or indefinite blocking, this type of scheduling is making the process with a lower priority to wait for larger amount of time. Okay, and one more disadvantage is that its implementation is quite difficult. Okay, so this is all about the priority scheduling. Hope you people have understood